allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we please have roll call?
Yes, you may. Councilmember Shacker.
Here.
Councilmember Perkins.
Here.
Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Councilmember McCafferty.
Here.
Councilmember Armstrong.
Here.
Vice Mayor Granillo.
Present.
Mayor Miller.
Here.
And our town attorney is present.
Okay. Introduction, presentations, and proclamations. We have none. Call to the public, ma'am.
Call to the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is at the discretion of the council and not required by law. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. Yielding of time will not be permitted. The total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. Disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated. This includes loud outbursts, profanity, and disruptive discussions among our audience. Mayor, I did not have any submitted cards.
Okay, no one wants to speak? All right, we're moving on. I'm sorry? Did somebody say something? Okay, sorry. Current event summaries and reports. Status reports by mayor and council regarding current events. I don't have anything. On this side over here, Bob? Annie, here. How about over here?
No.
Wow. Mrs. Manager?
Thank you, Mayor Council. Just a couple of items. I want to remind everyone that we have our construction projects going right now. We are working on Road 1 East between Center and 3 South, as well as some local roadways just south of Perkinsville Road and to the west of 89. Remind everyone to be patient with us while we do this important work and to please drive carefully through those areas. Also, we are getting very close to having our police building finished. Some punch list items are getting done. We have scheduled an open house for the public to do a tour of the police building, and that is going to be, I'm sorry, the 22nd, forgot to write that down, on the 22nd between 4 and 6. And
Is
parking,
that right? Time right, Chief?
yes, it is.
Oh, it's a public one.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
And
Excuse
parking
me.
is limited, so we would ask everyone to please carpool if they could, but we invite you to come out and take a look at our beautiful new building. And last but not least, I wanted to let everyone know that there is a Olson's Grain Canine Fair going on this Friday, June 16th. We want to thank Olson's for being a really great supporter of our canine program. Come out and see our very own Canine Sirius. He's going to be doing a demo, and they'll be selling some plush pets to raise money to purchase new training gear for Sirius. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry I got the time messed up. Okay, number 5, consent agenda. Would anybody on this side like to remove anything from the consent agenda? No. On this side?
No.
I'll entertain a motion then.
Make a motion we approve consent agenda items A, B, C, and D.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Action items. Consideration and possible action to adopt resolution number 2023-1223, approving a tentative budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 and proposed expenditure limitation the same year in the amount of $45,150,500 and setting a public hearing date of June 27th, 2023 on the tentative budget and adoption of the final budget.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. This evening, we're here to adopt the tentative budget for fiscal year 23-24, and I have a brief 64-slide presentation for you. Brief slide presentation about the budget. As you know, on May 17th, 23, we did a budget study session where we went through in details all the items we have in the budget. And on June 13th, today is when we actually adopt the tentative budget. Basically, what that allows us to do is start our posting. We have to post it on the website and actually publish it in the paper 2 times. And this will still allow us to meet our goal of adopting the final budget on June 27th. So state law requires that mayor and council have to adopt by the 3rd Monday in July for each fiscal year. We must adopt the tentative budget. Now, the adopted tentative budget sets the maximum amount of next year's budget. So we can adopt an amount tonight. We can make changes. We can't go up, but we can go down. So we can actually reduce what the final budget is before it's actually adopted. This year's budget is $45,150,500, just slightly less than last year's budget. And we're still doing quite a bit of capital, but last year we had the police department in there, so that raised it up again. The things that I've added since the study session, we did add the IT support position. We added a $3,000 donation to the Historical Society. And then I went through and I reforecasted all my payroll changes because I do it in March, and that's what we present through the budget. And then I like to take the chance to just double check because we do have staff changes, people in and out. So I just did a small adjustment in that. So one of the things that I think the town could be really proud of is, one, we budget very conservatively. So we always overestimate our revenues. We always underestimate our expenses. So, or I'm sorry, the other way. The other way. So we underestimate our revenue and we overestimate our expenses. So what that allows us to do is we usually have money left over at the end of every fiscal year. In fact, for the years I've been here, every year we've been able to take a little bit, the excess money, and put it and build our fund balance and our reserves to where they are today. But we also do a structurally balanced budget. And that means that our recurring revenues equal or exceed our recurring expenses. And usually they exceed our expenses. So we'll spend one-time revenues, and like we got this $1 million extra state shared revenue amount that came in this year, more than we were projected, and we're going to put that on roads. But we don't basically budget to spend that every year. We make sure it's just for one time. So we do that separation. It gives us a structurally balanced budget. And I'll show it to you in this chart. The black box is actually this fiscal year. And the red is on the very top is our required reserve. The yellow is our excess reserve. This is that money that we have in excess of what we're required to have. The greens are one-time revenues that we project we'll just get one time each year. And the orange or the brown is our ongoing revenues. Now, if you look at the blue bar, that's our ongoing expenses. So you can see we're about even on there. And I'm totally comfortable with that because what we know is we estimate our expenses to be more than they actually are going to be. We have a lot of cushion in there. You know, we make sure that we have enough just in case. And then the gray line is our one-time expenses. The gray line in the general fund this year, the biggest number, is moving money over to the roads budget so we can do more road work. That's the biggest portion of it. The HERF fund, the same way. Ongoing revenues and expenses are about equal, but you can see we have a really large excess reserve there. That money's going to the road CIP to do more road work. The water enterprise fund, it's actually our ongoing revenues exceed our ongoing expenses by just a little bit. We're only going to do one small capital project. So our water enterprise fund is actually doing pretty well. It's pretty stable. We're bringing in, we're making just a little bit enough for repairs and replacements. That doesn't hold true though for our sewer enterprise fund. We're budgeting to spend more than we're bringing in next year on our ongoing revenues. And this is what we talked about in the study session. This is why we're doing a rate study, because the reality is we're going to be recommending a rate increase on our sewer this budget year. And so with that, unless you have any questions, this is all I prepared for presentation, but I'm willing to answer any
questions on my left here? Sherry,
No.
John?
No. You were going to throw in the slide about
Microphone, buddy.
Okay.
slide.
Yeah, I do have some personnel, a little more personnel detail. So you had a question. These are the positions that that are in the recommended budget that we're adding this year. Total cost about $820,000. We're going from 114 positions to 124.5. The net cost of that is we're going to increase our positions by about 9.21%. Our gross salaries will go up about 7.5%. And with benefits and everything, our total costs, we're raising our total salary expenses for the entire town by 6.45%. And I think, Councilman McCafferty, your question was how much is that to our total budget? And so last year it was 23%. This year it's 25% of our total ongoing budget.
Did you factor out grants?
So I did, yeah, actually, this would include grants, but I did another slide. And so what I thought about is, because we have grants, we have a lot of capital. And so I took this slide really shows you what our operating departments are. So it's going to have some of the small capital, but the three operating or the four operating departments pretty much are apples to apples year after year. The only thing is this year in the general fund, we are transferring so much to roads, it's going to make it a little bit higher. So this is what you can see. Payroll was 59% of our budget last year, but because our budget went up, it's only 52% this year of our operating department budgets. So that would exclude grants.
Right, but the underlying question I had for you was, what was the overall percentage of commitment that the taxpayers have to the overall budget, excluding grant funds? I'm talking about generated revenue that's consistent. What percentage of our budget now will go to salaries and benefits if all this was adopted?
Okay.
10 point, or I think that's a little less now. I don't think it's 10.5.
Yeah, so actually I think the 25% is probably the best number that I can give you on it. I think that's
It's that low? I mean, that's phenomenal.
yeah. So depending on what you pull out with transfers and everything, because you understand we have a $40 million budget, but we only spend like $26 million because we have to account for all the transfers between funds. So that's why it's so hard to get apples to apple comparison for you. So my goal here was to show you that it is increasing by about 2% in total overall by adding those 10 positions.
Okay,
my
is
bad.
that it? That's it over here, John?
Yes.
Okay, how about over here? Anything?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Annie.
Can you go back to the slide with the employees, please? Are we funding a full-time public information officer or no? I don't see it
No,
in
we
here.
took that out. I'm just double checking to make sure I did, but yes, I did take that out. Yeah. So we
Okay,
have
I'm confused.
we have 50,000 in as a contract for contractual services. So we'll contract for public information officer. When we talked to the study session, the position would have added another 75,000. So it'd been a total of 125,000 with benefits and everything for it. But we left the 50, but took the 75 out.
So it will be just a contract part-time PIO is what we're looking at?
Right. And so we'll have $50,000. We can either use it as a contract or we can use it as a part-time employee,
Okay.
whichever works.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That's it. Eric?
I'm good.
Okay,
Your call, sir.
okay. Are we ready for a motion? Anything further? Do it.
Okay. Make a motion, we adopt action items. A, consideration and possible action to adopt resolution 2023-1223, approving the tentative budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 for $45,150,500.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Sherry? Adjournment.
What?
Adjournment.
Really? Already?
Already.
Holy cow. Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.
It's,
New record. 2 minutes. 13 minutes. Yeah, but you can use this, just drop this part.
What do you have in here?
This motion.
Oh, that's right. You started, okay.
Took over somebody else's lap.
That's,